Good morning, kind people of the internet. Today I want to talk a little bit about a book that has helped me a lot physically as a saxophone player, but also somebody who has to sit at a computer a lot if I'm like working on music, or even if you're a musician that plays a different instrument, or anyone that has a job really where you're sitting and you're not able to move around very much, where you're kind of in a stagnant position for long periods of time. So when I got off the road about 5 years ago with the last musical that I played, I was really excited because all of a sudden I had all day to practice. Whereas with this show, our schedule was basically 6 a.m. get on the bus, 2 p.m. roll into the next city, and then check into the hotel, then go play sound check at the theater, then go have dinner, then play the show, then repeat that the next day. Occasionally I would get an off day where I could sneak into the theater and practice for a couple hours, but my practice time was super limited. So then when I came off the road, all of a sudden I have all this free time and I'm super motivated. So I was practicing probably 3 to even 6 hours a day sometimes, just putting in tons of time, just as much as I possibly could. So after a while, I was feeling a little bit of pain in my left elbow. And I wasn't sure why, because I always played with really good posture. My shoulders were always relaxed. I didn't play with a lot of pressure in my hands, and my arms were always pretty loose. And I was standing up straight. So I wasn't totally sure what the problem is. So I actually found this really great doctor he was a chiropractor and an acupuncturist. And I went there initially to get acupuncture. And so I met with him and told him, what my issue was. This was also kind of affecting my left hand as well. It's not just my elbow, but I could feel just a little bit of tightness, especially in my fourth finger in my hand. Nothing that was like keeping me from playing, but just like it was a little uncomfortable and I could tell that something was up. So this doctor, we were doing our first acupuncture session, and he put one needle in the left side of my neck, and instantly my hand felt looser than I could ever remember it feeling. I mean, it was totally wild. I was sitting there and I was just like, holy crap. And the doctor was just laughing because he knew what he was doing, and he knew what was causing my issue. And I figured it was something in my arm or my elbow. So I wasn't thinking about my neck really at all, but it was the pressure from the weight of the saxophone that was putting too much pressure on the nerve flow and the blood flow from my neck, that moves down into the arm. So that's why I was experiencing what I was in my left arm. So it was just through that realization from meeting with that doctor where I figured out, man, I've really got to figure out how to deal with the weight that you have to have as a saxophone player around your neck. And I knew I wasn't going to be going to acupuncture every week for the rest of my life. That's not really a preventative measure. I mean, it certainly helps after the fact, but you have to be doing things on your own, so you don't have to take it that far where you need that. So around this time, I was just doing a lot of my own research, just to learn about things that could help and just to get any ideas. So luckily I had a very wise teacher recommend this book to me, which is called Relaxercise. So this book is based on the method that is called Feldenkrais. So Feldenkrais is somewhat similar to Alexander technique, if you're familiar with that, and also probably in the same ballpark as yoga as well. Basically what it is, it's a method of body awareness through small movements. So the exercise in here that I like the most, and the one that I do most often, is just the first one, and it's called easy flexibility. So basically you're just sitting in a chair or just a bench. I like to do it on my piano bench just because it sits a little bit higher. And you're turning to the right and left, and then you have different combinations of moving your shoulders, keeping your head straight, moving different parts. So there are 19 different movements within just this first exercise, and it says to do each movement 4 to 8 times. So depending on how much time I want to spend on this, it can be even starting at 10 minutes, and then I can go all the way to like 45 minutes just working through one exercise. So what this does for me as a saxophone player, where I'll have tension in my neck, even though I don't necessarily feel tight, sometimes when I turn my head, I can feel that it's tight, but it's not painful. So by working through this, as I'm doing all of the small movements, it's allowing my muscles to relax, and it's allowing the nerve flow to continue in a stronger way than it was before. So basically, what this does is it allows everything to just relax and return to normal after putting a lot of stress on it. So if you're somebody that plays multiple hours in a day and you notice anything with your back, your shoulders, or your arms, then that first exercise alone will help just so much. And then there are other ones that are geared specifically towards lower back, shoulders, neck, and everything. So again, this book is called Relaxercise, and it looks like this. But I would recommend just checking out the Feldenkrais method in general. From a short search on YouTube, it looks like there's a lot of good stuff on there. And I'm sure there are other books too. And you can maybe even find local classes where you could go and try out the method yourself. But especially as a saxophone player, I feel lucky to have found this, and I think it's a real gem, just in terms of injury prevention and just overall body health. So I hope you found this helpful, and please let me know if you have any questions.